Yeah.
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 And therefore, it's upfront. This is our business. We want to achieve this in the short term, long term. What are opportunities for data and AI?
Would you say most businesses are fit for data?
Every business is fit for data because every business today has an opportunity to drive efficiency, to be innovative, and to design better products. So the problem statement makes you ready. Nothing else prepares you. It's like being thirsty. You can't say, am I ready for water? So the situation itself makes
Okay,
you
that's
ready.
a good example.
Yeah,
That's a good example.
Yeah, the situation makes you ready. It's either you want to partake that opportunity, and you must do it properly. But also, you could be comfortable and get disrupted, lose your customers, and find out the hard way.
Greetings and welcome back. This is the Sales Matter podcast. My name is Temba. We bring to you subject matter experts to delve deep into topics around data and AI. We're finding ourselves at a space where, as Africa, we're looking to innovate. We're looking for new ways to engage customers. We're looking for ways to stay competitive, right? Today, I'm sitting with Dr. Mark NAsila, Chief Data and Analytics Officer at FNB Risk. Sir, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Greetings.
Greetings, and thank you for having me. I'm very excited to be here and looking forward to our discussions today.
100%. I want you to first introduce yourself to our audience the best way you know how. I don't want to limit you. This is why I don't like introducing people. So anything you want to share, about yourself, anything you want to touch on, growing up, your passion, your hobbies, what got you here, anything you think we should know about you. You can go for it.
Thank you. I'll try keep it brief. So I'm responsible for driving a data and AI strategy at First National Bank that helps the organization leverage data, AI, to make sure we're efficient, we're effective and proactive in the way we manage various risks across the organization. As the Chief Data Analytics Officer, I run a team of about 70 data scientists, data architects, and professionals in that value chain who collectively we work with the risk function, with the risk business, as well as our technology partners to make sure that we're embedding data and AI as a strategic enabler. Beyond that, I'm a professor of practice at University of Johannesburg. Where I do contribute to thought leadership as well as course supervision of postgraduate students. I'm also a faculty of AI at Singularity University. And beyond that, I write a lot on AI, especially on the application side. Other than that, on a personal basis, I enjoy reading, I enjoy sport, and I'm a gym fanatic.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Great. Why is this topic critical today, this data and AI topic?
So, Temba, this topic is being spoken about in every boardroom today. Every sector, whether it's the public sector or social sector or the private sector. And when you look at what's been happening around in the past couple of years, we're seeing a global shift in the way things are being done. We've got geopolitical issues that are driving policies across the world. We've got interest rates that are being, driven by various organizations, whether it's the oil sector or even the automobile sector, and a lot of it are driving how organizations relate to each other or jurisdictions. We've got technology by itself is globalizing things. The customer of today, with the presence of AI and AI applications, is a very different customer, has different expectations. We've got emerging risks. For example, climate model and AI itself is bringing a lot of risks, and other risks like, for example, cybersecurity. Then we've got policies that are changing. For example, data itself is introducing complex privacy requirements. And then we've got digitization, which is now an expectation because the digital complement or the digital advancement have meant that customers want a digital experience. All these factors are complex. And today, organizations are looking to AI and data as mature capabilities to help them navigate this complexity, to help them become more efficient, to help them repurpose people by automating things that need to be automated so that people can deal with complex issues or complex aspects of work, but also most importantly to design and come up with products and services that are more relevant and meet customers' needs. So AI and data are being looked at as capabilities to help keep up and navigate this complexity.
100%, I get that. So you've been involved in the data and analytics space for quite some time now, and I believe, in different situations, right? Different environments, if I can put it like that. And I like what you've just said right now on why the topic is important. But what exactly are we dealing with? And what I mean by that is, why should a company out there care about this in a sense of wanting to possibly, stand out? Maybe let me ask the question this way. Here's a business that says, we've been doing this for a while. We've been doing things like this. Why should they start wanting to, make the investment in the data and the AI?
So in addition to navigating the complexity or the complex situations I've just described, these technologies, especially AI and generative AI, are disrupting every single industry. When you compare the previous revolution, we had a few sectors. For example, the automobile sector, which was more disrupted, and there was a mass amount of work that was created. Today, all industries are being reimagined and provide different opportunities.
I like that point.
The second part is the customers of today are very impatient. So they don't have room for you, delaying on delivery on products and innovations that meet their needs. One thing we've seen is that services and products will even be provided by organizations outside your industry. And the banking sector is a very good example because think about the payments and fintechs are coming up with services that are cheaper and much more accessible than traditional banks, right? The second part is that the cost of these products are going lower and lower and lower. And every organization has to leverage technology to be much more efficient, to transform the automation or reliance on AI into savings that you provide to customers and services, to customers in relation to how you price products and services. And if you do not leverage technology, there is no way you're going to keep up. There's no way. And we've seen a lot of organizations that they thought they were immune to disruption, however big they are, fall away because of being disrupted.
Yes, 100%. Mm-hmm. We all know if you want to lose weight, eat right, go to gym, possibly, isn't it?
Exactly.
It's not rocket science.
It's not rocket science, but you have to do it.
You have to do it.
Yes.
Why is this becoming rocket science? Why is there so much resistance? As much as you've highlighted the risks, the implications, the consequences of not doing, right?
Yes.
We've seen a slow adoption. And you can elaborate more on that in terms of what we're seeing in your environment, right? That you're mainly exposed to.
Yes.
What's still causing that resistance? If I understand that if I don't do this, I'll be kicked out of business.
So we've got various challenges organizations are facing today that is slowing down the adoption of technology or the use of data. And in my experience and what I've seen in a lot of conferences, one is that there's a lack of alignment on the role of AI and data.
Okay.
And when I say that, is that AI is being positioned more to organizations as a technology, not as a source of value creation. And by that I mean is that technologists data scientists, AI researchers and specialists, including shareholders, are well acquainted with the role of AI.
Yeah.
But the value of AI comes from when it's integrated into the way an organization works. And most of the time, it's with the front line. It's with people who are not technical. And therefore, if there's no collective alignment of AI and data to an organization, it becomes a bit of a challenge. The second part is trust. Today, technology has got challenges. We've heard about model bias, ethics, responsible AI. So organizations have to create a balance between the business opportunities they want to achieve with AI and safety and what could go wrong. So don't just prepare for driving the revenue side of things. Provide ways of assuring society, product users, or even the whole organization about safety and ethics. Then we've got other cultural issues, readiness around technology,
Yes.
skills transformation, because people have to work differently with technology compared to when technology was not there. All those factors combined together are holding back organizations. When you look at AI in the finance sector, only 1% of organizations have evidence of creating value from AI and value at scale.
That's
across the world. And some organizations don't even have any AI application. So this is a reality. And it's not a technology problem, because technology is very available today.
Then how do we fix that? I guess my follow-up question is exactly that.
So
Is it more, sorry to interrupt you there.
Yeah.
Is it more education? Is it more awareness? What will it take?
So, like any other strategy, you have to set yourself up to succeed. And in my experience, there's two things you have to do very well. Number one, you have to make data and AI a value conversation, not a technology conversation. People have to align with everyone on what you want to do with AI.
Yeah.
But there's a second part that is actually very complementary. You have to drive literacy programs. People must understand AI. They must be able to interrogate AI. They must be able to understand how AI works. For you to create value out of something, you must understand how it works. Think about it. And what I think organizations are doing wrong is to push technology to people without understanding how the role of that technology in creating the wider value, but also how it would work for people. This technology is providing a major shift and transition. So things like change management strategies are very critical in helping people, keep up with ways of working. Just like, for example, a few years ago, we had the Nokia phone. Today we've got, smartphones. That whole transition is actually massive. And if you think about ways of working, we're going through a time where society is facing a lot of challenges, and you bring in a new technology. However small the impact is, it must be managed in a very inclusive and collective way, not just from a higher strategic perspective or not from a technology perspective. It must be value, including how it helps people.
I guess one of the most common challenges really has so much to do with quantifying the value of AI in rand value, if I can put it like that. And that can be from a perspective of gain, or losses, if I can put it like that. Have you got a business case that you can share with us on how AI, contributed to a business growth, especially from a from a revenue perspective?
Absolutely. So, if you ask me, what is the value of a strategy? Not the promise, not objectives. Chances are that everyone has the same objectives and same promise.
It's possible.
It's what you measure. It's what you measure. Whatever strategy, whether it's AI, whether it's designing products or customer services, it's what you measure. Now, I run the AI literacy program at FNB.
Okay.
And I've been doing it for this is our third year.
Okay.
And a part of things we teach people is, for example, identifying use cases. How do you identify opportunities for efficiency, the pain points? But most importantly, when you've identified that opportunity, how do you measure the value technology is bringing? How do you measure when we talk about productivity? Because it's very easy to say, okay, we're going to repurpose people.
Yeah.
Oh, we're driving productivity. What does that mean? Because at the end of it all, your customer or your shareholder is interested in measurable value that was promised as part of implementing that strategy. But measuring benefit must also be very unique on what you're applying it for, on the use case, including change management, including measuring what could go wrong. So one of the AI systems we've implemented at Fast Run Risk is a system that streamlines the risk assessment processes. So I'll give you a bit of a description about it. In our risk management processes, we have to make risk decisions. The process of making a risk decision involves you identifying the risk.
Mm-hmm.
So we've got a lot of algorithms, fraud models, money laundering models that help us proactively with very good efficiency or good false positive rates to identify the risk customers or even transactions. Then someone has to investigate. The process of investigation involves sourcing a lot of data and writing a report, just a proper forensic
100%.
procedure.
Yeah.
Then you analyze the evidence, you come to a conclusion that this is suspicious, so let's stop it, or maybe it's just something that happened and it's unusual, but it's not risky, let it go through. That whole process is lengthy. We process thousands of transactions a second. You cannot do things the old ways. Today's fraudsters and complexities are being enabled by technology itself. So to make sure you keep up, first of all, you have to be proactive. Second, we've developed a system that does that whole collection of data and writes the report and creates a synopsis for the investigator. That whole process is now introduced an efficiency of over 70%. What does that mean for the future of work that we've created? One, our analysts are spending time applying their human skills, human decisioning. They're not spending time collecting data and putting together. The technology is doing that. We're getting faster decisions at scale, keeping in mind that our systems are under attack. We're selling safety. We're selling the safest neighborhood as a value proposition to our customers, and therefore we have to keep up with anything that could go wrong. And to make sure that's happening, we have to measure the time to decision, for example. We have to measure how many decisions are being done today at what rate compared to when we did not have technology. We have to measure the nature of new decisions that are being done by people versus the role of technology.
Yes.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
We have to measure accuracy in decisions, because also technology is now introducing consistency in
accuracy in decisions. I love that.
Yes.
I love that.
Because it's not just about faster decisions, because you could make faster wrong decisions. But now we're introducing consistent, faster, accurate decisions.
Would you then say that that part especially is informed by the quality of the data?
Yes.
Let's maybe also delve into the importance, because I know for a fact that collecting data is not a problem anymore. There's many sources of data. There's many ways in which any business out there, any organization can collect data. In fact, a lot of businesses are already sitting with so much
Data,
if I can put it like that. What's your take on this quality aspect of the data to ensure everything you just said now happens?
Yes. So data is a fuel for AI and machine learning.
Yeah.
If there is no data, machine learning and AI does not happen.
Okay.
So it's information that AI systems and algorithms use to make decisions. Now, and rightfully so, managing data, especially in a very big organization, is very complex.
Yeah.
And the first step towards that is having accountability. So, for example, in our group, we've got a number of chief data officers who own these data sources.
Yeah.
And they are responsible for making sure they manage the quality of that data from the time it's collected from the source systems up to when it's made available for consumption, either just direct decisioning or being ingested into algorithms so that the algorithms can have some sort of output. The second part about that is we've got safe and secure platforms that are governed on who accesses what information.
Okay.
And the reason for that is that we know very well that there's likely to be misuse if you don't govern information. Secondly, the information we're talking about, as much as it's numbers, this represents events and what customers spend on.
Yes.
It represents a life of a customer.
100%.
You have to make sure you protect it and use it with the interests of the customer. Now, I liked what Andrew Ng talked about, which he refers to as a data-centric approach to AI. And basically what we're doing is not just collecting data and putting it there, making it available, or the highest bidder must use it. We're following a use case approach. And his approach means that, listen, focus and prioritize on data you need for the identified use case. A lot of organizations went through the process of centralizing data and aggregating, and you realize some organizations have a lot of data. It will take you years to centralize everything, and to manage all those records becomes very complex.
Yeah.
But when you start small and when you're centralizing data you need for the use case, you're able to understand the quality of your data. So most cases, there's no data quality that's 100%.
Okay.
You have data with quality that is usable. There's no data quality that's 100% because maybe sometimes legacy issues and sometimes there's system problems, but it's usable. You understand what quality or appetite of quality you're willing to accept to be able to use the data. So, and the nature of the quality determines the nature of value you will get. The other part is that you also have to govern the output from algorithms. Who uses, how frequent does data need to flow into an algorithm, and how often is this being used? Because you're not just managing the data, but the quality of data can also envisage itself in the misuse of the output. So you govern the purpose of what an output is being used for, and then continuous monitoring from the source up to what is being used. We call this a reconciliation process at every step. So if you think of a factory, right?
Yeah.
You must make sure at every stage of the data value chain, whatever you're getting in is whatever is going out. Whatever is getting in is whatever is going out. So
that QA also becomes essential.
So you end up having a matrix of reconciliation of data quality metrics, whether it's completeness, whether it's missing values, or whether it's populated in the correct format.
Yeah.
But also it allows you to understand the appetite or the impact of quality on the value of the outcome. So if you have 70% missing observations, it means that your output will be directly impacted by the 70% missing. But if you have 99% accurate, you know very well that 1% is going to have issues.
Yeah.
But it also allows you where to set the appetite on the role of data. So where you put thresholds. For example, you can condition, do not use the output from these algorithms if data is missing.
100%.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
How are you ensuring that quality in your space?
So we've got monitoring controls, accountability. We've got governance. We've got frameworks for whether to use data or not use data, because there's no use of embarking on a journey when data is not accessible or it has poor quality. We've got business ownership also, because businesses run processes and functions that create data. And therefore, they influence the value chain of the quality of output that will come out.
Yes.
Because eventually they want value from data. And they help us, they work with us to make sure that we have to set clear requirements on what the role of data is. We're sourcing data that is in line with supporting the strategic initiatives, because also you must focus on what business wants to achieve, and your data requirements must underpin the business strategic objectives. And that allows you to have an end-to-end value chain of managing data quality. So it's a very collective responsibility.
Okay.
Yeah.
Then I wanted to ask you, this following question, and I'm interested in your answer. Yes, we want to be data-driven as a business. We're making initiatives, putting in certain efforts and stuff. What metric can we use to measure if our data program meets the needs of our company?
So I always I've used the word data-driven for a long time, and sometimes it's not practical.
Okay.
It's not very. I like data-informed decisions, because people drive strategies, people drive decisions, but they are informed by data.
Okay.
Yeah.
I
So
love that.
yeah. So data doesn't come up with the strategies. People come up. They drive strategies, but you inform your strategy.
It's informed
with
by the data.
By the data. Does it make sense?
It does.
Yeah, because so
it does. I love that.
And also, if you phrase it correctly, it helps you define the role of data, because without people, then you don't need data, because people come up with strategies, objectives, and then they use data to inform their decisions.
Okay,
Yeah.
but going back to the question of the metric used, how do we know if our data program that we have in place is meeting the needs of our business?
Measure the value it's creating.
Okay, measure the...
And that value is, as I said, is unique based on the strategic use cases.
Okay.
And
business objectives.
Objectives. But I think organizations that are mature tie back the value to a unit or a record of a data point. If you apply economic principles in the way you're creating value, you should be able to understand one transaction helps create this amount of efficiency or this amount of revenue. Because algorithms are a science. You can measure how accurate an algorithm is and tie back the value you're creating to at a record level. And therefore, back to your other question,
yeah,
you should be able to understand the cost of poor data quality at a record level. So to drive that accountability, you must tell the business, for every single record that has got poor quality, affects the output, and this is the implication from a value perspective.
Mm.
It's a direct science.
And also from rand.
Yes, exactly.
Rand value.
Exactly. That's why we're shifting so much. There's a shift from the notion of, algorithms to data products and AI products, because the product is something that you're using to create value. It's being informed by a data point. So that data point informs the quality of the product. If you have poor data quality, the AI output will be poor. And therefore, I'm selling you a poor AI product, which might
100%.
not help you so much.
I love this. I love where this is going, because in our business, what we are finding to be critical, really, and I believe we've talked about this with Leanne from Microsoft. We're talking about this AI hype.
Yeah.
And Leanne said, unfortunately, is the fun things, which get most of the attention. The AI will always get the attention because it sounds fun, it sounds exciting, all this type of things,
Yeah.
But that foundation, which is the data quality, is often, overlooked, if I can put it like that. It's often neglected. The governance piece, which you just talked about right now,
Yeah.
it's often neglected. So I wanna ask the following question just to get your opinion around that. We want to build this data and AI strategy. We don't have one at the moment. We're looking to build a data and AI strategy. What should we consider as a business? And you may have touched on some of the aspects,
Yeah.
in our discussion so far. But if we were to put this in a, 3 steps, 3 steps to building a data and AI strategy.
Yeah. So, by nature, we human beings like shiny things.
Yeah.
We like technology. We want also sometimes to sound smart. But organizations that are very successful start these journeys from a value perspective,
Okay.
right?
Yeah.
And they start it also by empowering people. So make sure people understand the technology, what it can do, its limitations.
Yeah.
Make people be able to interrogate the role of technology and let them be ambassadors that will down the line help integrate it. Then align on what you want to achieve.
Okay.
And the building blocks of what you want to achieve are, one, they actually represent your ambition in a technology. So a lot of organizations, AI's ambition is low because they've not identified the correct opportunities for AI.
Okay, I agree with you on that point.
Right? They've said, okay, we want a chatbot, or we want a search engine, or we want this. Search engines are there. Chatbots have been there for long. But what you do with it is what actually brings value. And if what you do with it is not aligned to what the organization is trying to achieve, it means it's not, first of all, the use cases might not receive the strategic backing. Every business wants to talk about the role of AI and data as a mirror reflection of its strategic objectives. So you've got strategic objective 1, data is helping do this. 2, data is helping do this.
Okay.
But you can't talk about business strategic objectives and say, okay, on the other side, AI is also going to do this with AI. So if those are disjointed, that's why.
Okay, that's a good one.
Yeah, that's why organizations have to go through an ideation. Look at the strategic objectives and break them down. Go deeper into identifying efficiency opportunities, areas of pain point where,
And marry that.
and make sure that now AI comes in.
This is how AI can solve this.
Solve it.
This is how AI can help us
But
achieve
within
this.
the business construct.
100%.
Not because, okay, I read about this, or there was a conference, we found out someone else has implemented, so we're going to implement it. You see, organizations are unique. They run in very unique ways. And therefore, the way AI and data will create value will only be respective to how the organizations create value. Not because there was a publication or because, this conference, someone said this, because you end up actually deflecting the role of data within the business.
Yeah.
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 And therefore, it's upfront. This is our business. We want to achieve this in the short term, long term. What are opportunities for data and AI?
Would you say most businesses are fit for data?
Every business is fit for data because every business today has an opportunity to drive efficiency, to be innovative, and to design better products. So the problem statement makes you ready. Nothing else prepares you. It's like being thirsty. You can't say, am I ready for water? So the situation itself makes
Okay,
you
that's a good
ready.
example.
Yeah,
That's a good example.
Yeah, the situation makes you ready. It's either you want to partake that opportunity, and you must do it properly. But also, you could be comfortable and get disrupted, lose your customers, and find out the hard way. So the situation makes you ready.
Okay.
Yeah, and it's a very it's a very difficult question in a very easy way. But if you think about the implications of not setting yourself up to leverage AI, to leverage data, you'll realize that it's got serious implications. So think about the end in mind. If you do not come up with better products, you'll lose your customers.
You will.
If you don't come up with ways of being proactive and efficient, you're going to have high operational costs, right? If you don't come up with better ways of leveraging technology to influence the way people work, people will not be as productive, So the situation today, like I described to you, the current global conditions make you ready.
And I agree.
Yeah.
And I agree.
Yeah.
Because I believe we're at that time, really. And I mean, as a way of differentiation.
Exactly.
As one of the, and I believe, I'll always quote Michael Porter, who warned us about this time that's coming, this hyper-competitive environment, business environment that we'll find ourselves in. So I like it when you say, it's like being thirsty. You don't pause and ask yourself, do I need water? Because when you're thirsty. Exactly. And you've got motivation to drink water, because if you don't drink, you're gonna find yourself, in a bad space not so long.
Exactly.
You said something about businesses, having to find this the hard way. If we don't put the measures in place, we don't put in the investments, in place, we'll learn the hard way. So have you got an example of a business that kind of followed that type of an approach to say, we'll cross the bridge when we get there?
I think one of the most common spoken about cases was the Nokia example, where they said, when they were so disrupted, and they came and said, I think they were a bit apologetic, saying, we're sorry, we lost without doing anything wrong.
Mm.
You see that?
Mm.
And they had millions of customers, but they never kept up with adopting new technology to meet the needs and evolving needs. So if you don't take it, you see, you don't have to mess things up to do something wrong. By not keeping up and leveraging new technology is also wrong, right? I think Kodak was also the same. I think the implications of what we're seeing today will be felt in the next 10 years. We're going to see a very disproportionate distribution of wealth within organizations and profits based on who made better decisions today.
Okay, I love that point.
We're going to see that already.
Best time to plant a tree was 20 years back.
Yes.
Type of a situation, right?
Exactly. And today we're already seeing a new form of inequality, which is being introduced steadily in the AI space. I don't know if you've read the book by Kai-Fu Lee about AI superpowers. Organizations and actually regions like, for example, China, America, are leading in the way they're adopting AI. They are coming up with superior products and services. The platform economy today is being, driven by those two regions. That's why combined together, they all got approximately 70% of the projected AI value.
Mm.
Why? Because they are understanding customers' needs. They are designing products that are relevant. They are creating dependency in their products and services. So America has gone to an extent of attracting talent across. They actually have a funnel of attracting the best talent, because in collaboration with a lot of higher education institutions within America, they're driving research and development of new technology products and services, which are being used across the world. China, on its side, is actually driving execution. Today, if you go to China, they are producing application technology at scale, at a very high rate. That's why you got platforms like Alipay and Huawei, who today are also driving the economy of AI because they're producing platforms for organizations to use for machine learning and AI operations. They have identities in what they want to do with AI. And that's why I said of the 16 trillion US dollars projected, studies are showing that they are actually taking a 70% of that proportion. Africa, on the other side, we're looking at 1.2 of that whole value. It means the future which we're going to create is likely to be where we are marketers of those products from outside. We're not going to drive industrialization. We're not going to create jobs in line with the industries we want to create. We're going to almost play a second role in driving the economy of AI.
We've talked about, China, we've talked about the US, and I know Dubai also is pointing towards the right direction when it comes to the use of AI and stuff.
Yeah.
As part of, community engagement, starting off at that level, going into customer engagement and looking for, new ways, innovative ways to create value and drive innovation, if I can put it like that. What are you seeing? Which markets in Africa would you say they actually, taking this seriously?
So the biggest trend we saw recently, the European Union published their AI or responsible AI frameworks.
Yeah.
And they realized that for you to win the race in AI, you need society to trust it. And you trust it when you've got a framework that protects people and people's interests. The US has also, come up with various policies. We've seen a lot of countries like, the UK also spearhead that route.
Yes.
Africa is ripe for AI value. If you think about the efficiencies, some of the societal problems we're facing require the use of AI. Our medical systems, our education systems, crime and security are areas where security safety are areas where AI can play a role. But most importantly, these problems we face consume so much of our economies. If we could leverage technology to release that economy and create better, invest them in other areas to help society benefit, it will be a massive win for Africa. And the whole process of doing that will create industries. Because you need industries to create AI products, to create AI solutions.
100%.
And these are multifaceted or even interlinked industries, because academia is there, public sector is there, the corporate sector is there, to make sure collectively you're driving industries that are modernizing Africa. Right? That whole journey can only be driven by two things at the beginning. One, you've got a strategy of what you want to do with AI, unique to your situation. And I've seen the likes of Rwanda, Mauritius come up with AI strategies, but also frameworks for providing safety and assurance that AI is there for good and AI is there to benefit society. So those two are critical in setting the ball rolling in becoming an AI-enabled country or even continent. Or else, we are likely to be consumers of technology. And I'm not against collaboration.
Yeah.
But what I'm against is sitting back and
Not leading, not being in the forefront.
Yeah, not playing a major role in defining how AI would work for us. We'll end up working for AI.
In that case, what questions, considerations should business leaders out there, ask themselves? I'm a business leader because possibly the growth of an organization can easily be tied to the leader of that organization, if you can put it like that. So a leader determines how far we can go or can be the hindrance in terms of how far we can go, if I can put it like that.
Yeah.
What do you want what do you want leaders to start thinking about? What questions do you want leaders to start asking themselves?
So there's a very comprehensive checklist of questions leaders must.
Okay.
And I've published some of them on things boards and leaders must think about.
Yes.
But just to name a few. Number one, it's important that there's a compelling approach to the role of AI and opportunities AI will play a role in helping organizations keep up. And when I say compelling, is they must underpin what organizations are trying to achieve in the short term and long term. We talked about measurable benefit. The value of any strategy comes with what you measure. So businesses must create frameworks for measuring value. And these frameworks must be practical at a use case level.
I love that point.
There is no generic approach or blanket approach to, we're creating these value estimations. The value you get is the value you measure. Right? Secondly, you must also think about what could go wrong with technology. It's a major driver of trust. If people don't trust the technology, they will not use it. Since the launch of ChatGPT, we've seen so much concerns, ranging from legal, misinformation, bias. People are now more worried about what could go wrong. People are worried about whether AI will interfere with what even it means being a human being.
Mm-hmm.
And therefore, the good example I like using is the automobile and the building and construction industries. You need to engineer safety in the way AI is being developed. Checks are not enough. So have frameworks for engineering safety. So if you're putting together a house today, or building a house, safety is there. It's given. It's not a check you do after the house is built.
Yeah.
The automobile today, they sell safety. They don't say, the car is going to take you from A to B. They talk about airbags. They talk about, how the design of the car is very safe for you to get to your destination safely. So the same has to apply. You have to engineer safety and drive accountability of what could go wrong, who was responsible, understand the cost of going wrong at a use case level. Then you have to drive change. Leaders have to ask about change management and measurable change management, including empowering people to drive change. Because the change being driven by AI, especially at this time, is a massive one. It's an uncomfortable one for anyone in an organization. Even leaders themselves are finding this change very difficult to handle. And therefore, you reskill people, communicate continuously. Are you communicating? You have AI literacy programs, data literacy programs that are empowering not just technical people, but frontline staff at a basic level within their role to make sure they're comfortable with transitioning so that AI works for them, right? Beyond that, drive an inclusive approach to a strategy. And if that is not being done,
getting everyone on board. You want to
get it from the beginning. Get everyone on board. It's a journey. And maybe one of the other checklists for leaders, what other risks is an organization exposing itself? Cybersecurity is a major one. When you automate things, a lot of data is flowing through systems. It means it's prone to, cyber attacks.
Yes.
What controls do you have in place to deal with that? So there's a variety of questions. Obviously, it's difficult to go through all of them now.
100%.
But you need to set yourself up. And more importantly, you communicate the cost of not getting it done. It's important because it's one thing to talk about technology, then you pack it aside, you go back to old ways of doing things. It's everyone's responsibility. And one of the things, people question so much in the market about, okay, AI is going to take jobs, AI is going to do this. It is true, some jobs will be taken.
But other jobs will be created as well.
But
Yeah.
leaders have to communicate. You'll lose those jobs if we do not adopt technology, because customers will use products and services from competitors. And then an organization will not be able to sustain itself.
And look, Dr. Mark, I believe that, through innovation, we always have to let go of something. Something must change.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Because through the launch of these e-hailing services, the taxi, shuttle, businesses were disrupted.
Yeah.
And this is why we've seen so much resistance from these guys. This Uber guys, they will tell you, when we go to Center, we're not allowed to park at this certain spot. We can't drop you there because that's the, meter taxis space.
Yeah.
Right? But that meter taxi space is disrupted, isn't it?
And they've brought change. That
it has brought change.
It's brought change when you look at Airbnb, when you look at today, the payment systems.
So I believe we should treat AI the same, isn't it? As much as we've welcomed the Airbnb model,
yeah,
it has somewhat disrupted the
we need to impress
the
it.
hospitality.
We need to impress it, also keeping in mind.
Yes.
AI is not just disrupting opportunities. AI is almost the mother of all emerging technologies. AI is influencing other technologies. If you think about the metaverse, it's being informed by AI. If you think about nanotechnology, it's being informed by AI. So the implication of not doing it is also going to be felt in other spectrums.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can we talk about? Can we give an example of how we could use generative AI as a form of, or as a way of driving customer acquisition?
So, if you look at the process, what is entailed in the process of acquiring a customer? One is communication. So, there's a big aspect of our customers today that is digital in terms of the way they want to engage.
Mm-hmm.
And, the traditional engagement where you call a customer today might not be as effective as it used to be. So through digital channels, you can engage with the customer, offer them products, to acquire them, to onboard them to products. But the other aspect is, when we talk about generative AI, it's not just generating words. The other aspects of generative AI that we don't speak a lot about, like, for example, generating numbers that provide scenarios of what should be the best value proposition for a customer.
I love that.
What is the right time to contact? The combination of scenarios that allow you to present an offer to a customer, to onboard them or acquire them, understanding what is the right time to get in touch with the customer.
Yeah, 100%.
And a combination of other factors. So, normally we focus more based on, the hype around ChatGPT, but there's other forms of generative AI that complete that value proposition, including gamifying experiences. I talked to you about the metaverse and taking personalization to another level, like, being able to create an experience that a customer connects and identifies with. We've talked about African products. Today, generative AI can provide, very personified experience through the digital platforms.
Okay. Dr. Mark, we need to start wrapping up.
It's been an amazing conversation.
Yeah, look, it's been beautiful.
Yeah.
And I know for a fact that we would love to have you back, because I know there's some initiatives that you're working on which we can't talk about now.
Yes.
But maybe once, you get there, then we can have you back to kind of, talk more around that.
Yes.
Expand more in that, in that discussion. I'm going to ask you two last questions, then.
Yeah.
Then we end
We
it
can
here
wrap
for
up.
today.
Yes.
Yeah. Tell us about the future. And when I say future, I'm not talking about the next 30 years. I'm talking about the next 2 years. What are you seeing?
So the next 2 years, and I will maybe talk about in respect of AI and data, we're going to see a lot of organizations even gain more interest in AI and data.
Okay.
We're going to see a lot of countries put together policies on AI.
Yeah.
Because AI holds this economy and promise of not just globalization, but also the ability to solve a lot of problems. We're going to see a lot of AI literacy initiatives.
Okay.
And ways of learning for people to come along in the journey. Ethics is going to be a very big topic because of things that could go wrong, whether intended or unintended consequences around the adoption of AI. We're going to see so many organizations start having partnerships to mature adoption by leveraging off each other's capabilities.
Okay.
Yeah, and I think those are a few, but ethics frameworks and responsible AI frameworks will be at the center of driving
Responsible
trust.
AI.
Yes, responsible AI.
I love that.
Yeah, and then automation will be major. Efficiencies will be a big driver for organizations because no organization is going to keep up with doing things the old way. Must invest in ways which you drive savings to be able to translate that to better costing of products for your customers, but also to allow people play different roles where productivity is being driven within organizations. So, but maybe last but not least,
Okay.
we're going to see business stakeholders want value from AI and data, not just maturity in the process.
Return on the investment.
Yeah, because AI has been so topical, data has been so topical. Leaders will now want value and the role AI and data are playing in helping organizations transition into the future. Measurable value.
Measurable value.
Yes.
100%.
Yes.
Dr. Mark, thank you so much. I just have one last request from you. And this is possibly, Dr. Mark's advice for businesses out there wanting to be, data-driven, data-informed, who are looking to maximize on the opportunities and possibilities that AI could bring into our businesses. So you're going to look straight into this camera. You speak directly to the audience. Final words, advice, anything that you can think of, as what you strongly believe businesses out there should be thinking about, should be doing, should be considering, should even stop doing. Sometimes we talk about what we need to be doing, what new things we need to be doing, and I think we neglect the question around what do we need to stop doing. So maybe you also want to add to say, stop doing these things because they are hurting you, they are costing you and stuff. Yeah, go for it.
So I'll stay maybe very basic and simple. So AI is being spoken about everywhere today. Generative AI has accelerated the conversation. And for the first time, every single industry has to reimagine to be relevant for the future. A big challenge to leaders is what decisions are you making for your organization to navigate and be relevant going forward. The decisions you make around this technology today will determine how the futures of your organizations will turn out. They might even determine whether you'll exist or not. In my view, if you do not embrace AI, generative AI, and impress it with a value-driven strategy, then you're likely not to exist in the future. Talk is cheap. Adopting technology, and specifically AI, is very difficult. So you have to make the right decisions, empower the right people to make sure your organization is relevant and keeps up with some of the challenges we're seeing across the world. Thank you.
Dr. Mark, thank you so much.
Thank
I really appreciate the opportunity to sit here with you.
Yeah.
I understand you're always on the move. You're always working on something exciting. But I think, sitting here with me and adding value to, to audience, sharing this, because for us, really, you talked about data literacy, you talked about AI literacy and stuff. We feel this is part of that.
Part of that, yes.
Do you see what I mean?
Yes.
This is a platform for us who want to educate business out there and just get someone thinking.
Yeah. No, you have to drive the conversation. And this type of change is so massive. There's different channels of influencing people.
Yeah.
And this is one of the channels. There's people who like podcasts. There's people who like reading books. There's people who prefer to listen to radio. There's, people who like just reading articles. So we need every single channel to help drive impact.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, or
100%.
else we'll wake up one day and like, oh, why didn't you do this? Why did you not do this? And also we must understand that things that impact human beings have got a very complex effect. So we must humanize the process as much as possible. And imagine tomorrow you're being told, you used to do things this way, now tomorrow you have to do this. The practical implication on a person is very, very difficult. So you have to approach it in a humane perspective.
Yeah. Beautiful.
Cool.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Have it. Thank you for tuning in. This is the Sales Matter podcast. Hope you found value from my discussion with Dr. Mark NAsila, who is Chief Data and Analytics Officer at FNB Risk. Until next time, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much.